The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I'll tell you an amazing story. Amazing story. Rabbi Arentrei, the Dayan in London, has now come to live in Eretz Yisrael. Somebody that I'm very close to. He told a story in a tremendous kinos of Shmiras Halashon in Eretz Yisrael. He told a story about the town of Telz. The town of Telz was looking for a Rav. There was somebody named Rabbi Yeshua Heller. He was the Rav in Telz, and he left. Now, so they had different candidates. Now, there was a person who was the Av Bezdin. The Av Bezdin means he was the head of the Bezdin. His name was Rabbi Abba Werner. He was positive, for sure, that now that Rabbi Yeshua Heller left, they're going to take him as the Rav. He's the head of the Bezdin. But they went and they took an outsider from a different city, and they made him not only the Rav, they made him the Rosh Hashiva, Rabbi Paysach Krohn, who became like the father of Telz. So, this Rabbi Abba Werner felt terrible. And he left the town. He felt he couldn't stay in the town anymore, and he took a left. He went to Helsinki, and then he came to London. He became the head of the Machziki Hadas. Okay. Rabbi Paysach Krohn, of course, he didn't know how Rabbi Abba Werner felt. He just knew that the Av Bezdin left and went to Helsinki, and eventually went to London. Fine. Rabbi Paysach Krohn became the Rav, and he had to be Baidik all the Shachtim to see what they knew, what they didn't know. So there was a man there, his name was Rav Mendel Rappaport. Rav Mendel Rappaport was a Sheikhet for many, many years. Rabbi Paysach Krohn comes into the Sheikhet and he starts asking him questions. And he started asking him very basic questions, and Rabbi Mendel Rappaport felt very insulted. This young Rav is asking me these questions. I'm a Sheikhet here 20 years. Like, what do you think I am? Like a little boy who's first starting? And he was so baladik, he felt so bad that he decided, if that's what the Rav thinks of me, even though that he's a new Rav and he doesn't really know me, I'm out of here. And he left. And he left to London. Okay. 20 years later, in 1910, there was a very big fire, Nebuch, in the Telz Yeshiva, in Telz, in the town of Telz, and most of the yeshiva was made out of wood. Most of the buildings in Telz were made out of wood, and many buildings were destroyed, and the yeshiva was destroyed. And Rabbi Paysach Krohn now had to go raise money for the yeshiva. So everybody thought he was going to go to the Ukraine, to Poland. That's where there were many, Russia. That's where many Talmidim came from. But for whatever reason, he went to London. Nobody could understand why he went to London. He comes to London one afternoon, and he comes into this big Machziki Hadas shul. And Rabbi Mendel Rappaport, the Sheikhet, who's now very wealthy, recognizes him. That's the Telz Rosh Hashiva. He hadn't seen him in 20 years. He goes over to him, Shalom Aleichem, how are you? Of course, Rabbi Paysach Krohn didn't know who this guy was. And they come, and he invites him to his house. He should eat supper by his house. And he brings him into his palatial home, and they're sitting by supper, and they're talking. And then, as they're talking, Rabbi Mendel Rappaport says to him, Rosh Hashiva, I don't know if you remember, but I was also in Telz. He said, yeah, you were? He said, yeah, I was a Sheikhet. He said, remember you came in, you started asking me questions, and I felt very bad, because I was a Sheikhet for many years. He said, Oy vey, you felt bad, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that I hurt you, please forgive me. He says, don't worry, I forgive you, it's no problem. You see, Hashem sent me here, and I became very wealthy. I forgive you, it's no problem. He said, you know what I think? Rabbi Mendel says, I think we should go visit Rabbi Abba Werner. He was now the head of the Machziki Hadas. So they go visit Rabbi Abba Werner. He was the one who was the Av Bezdin. I don't know if Rabbi Paysach Krohn remembered that. He goes in and he says, Shalom Aleichem. They start talking and learning. And after they're talking and learning a while, Rabbi Abba Werner says to him, Rosh Hashiva, I want to tell you something. You know, Baruch Hashem, I have a wonderful position. But I must tell you, I felt a little bad when you took the position as the Rav in Telz. He said, why do you feel bad? He said, because I was the Av Bezdin. I thought for sure they were going to give it to me. And you as a young man, you came in, you should have asked me if you could take the position. I felt that it wasn't covered, that you didn't ask me. He said, oh yeah, I feel so bad. I had no idea you felt this way. Please forgive me. He said, I surely forgive you. It's no problem. You see, Baruch Hashem, Hashem sent me here, and everything is wonderful. Motzei Shabbos, huge Malach Malka. Rabbi Abba Werner was there. Rabbi Mendel Rappaport was there. Rabbi Paysach Krohn gave an unbelievable, passionate speech about the yeshiva. He was so excited. Shortly after the speech, he had a heart attack and he died. And he could not go back to Lithuania because there was some argument between the UK, the United Kingdom, and Lithuania. And today, he's buried in London, right next to Rabbi Mendel Rappaport. And you know what Rabbi Arentrei said? An amazing thing. He said, the Pasuk tells us, Me Hashem metzadei gover. All the footsteps of man are only from Hashem. Hashem directs us. Why did he go to London? What made him think he'd go to London? A person understands. And Rachanoich said, I'll tell you why. You know what people said? Rabbi Lezer Gordon was such a tzaddik. He had a straight ticket to the Olam HaEmes. But there were two flaws. There were two people that were still angry at him. Hashem wanted that he should be able to go directly to Gan Eden. That's why he had to get Mechila from those people. That's why he went to London. And as soon as he got the Mechila, that's when he was able to go straight to Gan Eden. An incredible story.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org